Would you be willing to do another Friday?
Cube already asked me to write it. I was supposed to have been writing it. This is what these guys are mad about. Like, we lost some great people before this movie could come out regardless.
Right.
And so, yes, there desperately needs to be one. But we miss John Witherspoon in a way that can't really be quantified, if I'm being honest with you. And the Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
Whew. If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think they asked Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday? Smokey was all in Smokey. There ain't no Friday without Smokey.
We all agree to that, and there's no next Friday without Friday, and there's no Friday after next without Friday.
We talk about the road because you said that they don't.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Chris was allowed to make the decision. At the time that this is happening, Cat Williams is known for smoking weed. Willie Nelson is known for smoking weed.
Right.
Snoop's known for smoking weed, but none of us is really known except Willie. And I'm saying, Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither.
Oh Lord, man, good Lord. As Cat Williams said, Epstein Island, Chris Tucker. Epstein Island, Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker, one of the many, many names on the long list of associates with Jeffrey Epstein. It is 6:44 in the p.m. on January the 12th here on Issues and Answers Friday, My Country with Scott Cannon. As you heard, as you heard Cat Williams talk about Christmas. That's what Michael Jackson used to call Chris Tucker. Both of them are some of the A-listers who are named in the newly unsealed Jeffrey Epstein documents. Dozens of high-profile names, royalty, politicians, even famous scientists appear in an avalanche of previously sealed court documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case that were released last week. This trove of papers filed in Epstein's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, her 2015 defamation suit against the dead sex offenders, Madam Ghislaine Maxwell, included references to tons of public figures. The lengthy list of names paints a troubling picture of Epstein's double life as an ace financier who used his wealth and connections to victimize dozens of young women. There were 215 unsealed documents, nearly 5,000 pages that were released between January 3rd and January 9th, named more than 170 people with ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So it is incredible, the sheer volume of people that were named in the case. This woman, a young woman, Virginia Giuffre, claims that she was sex trafficked to the billionaire Les Wexler on multiple occasions. She said that she was forced to have sex with Wexler several times, at least 5 times. Wexner is actually the CEO of Victoria's Secret. That's who he is. He hired Epstein to work as his financial manager. So, you know, you have people like Jeffrey Epstein who are connected to so many people, like Bill Gates. Like this is one of the reasons why Bill Gates got divorced. This is literally one of the reasons why he got divorced. Because his wife, Melinda Gates, did not like Bill being around him so much. She genuinely hated that. And it's curious that somebody like Bill Gates would need to be around somebody like Jeffrey Epstein. And the excuses that he gives are like, oh, well, you know, he knows a lot of things about, you know, managing money. Dude, Bill Gates was the richest man on the planet at one point. He was literally richer than everyone else on the planet. Why would he need Jeffrey Epstein? Why would he need Jeffrey Epstein to teach him how to make money? That just makes no sense. That makes zero sense to me. But the sheer volume of people who are on the list, it's just sort of, it's staggering. Obviously, we all heard about Prince Andrew. We heard about Prince Andrew in Virginia Giuffre's allegation. She was forced to have sex with him while she was underage. The documents also revealed that he allegedly participated in an underage orgy. That is crazy. One woman who was identified as Jane Doe number 3 testified that she was forced to have sexual relations with the prince when she was a minor on three separate geographical locations. And according to those court filings, those included Ghislaine Maxwell's London apartment, an unspecified location in New York, and on Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands in an orgy with numerous underage girls. That is disgusting. Bill and Hillary are on the list, as we knew they would be. People forget that Ghislaine and Epstein were in the Clinton White House very often. They were at Chelsea's wedding. You can see all the pictures of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Bill Clinton, his name appears 73 times in the papers. Now, I will have to say, he is not implicated in anything illegal. So I have to say that. But as a part of her testimony, one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, Joanna Schoberg, recalled that Epstein told her that Bill Clinton likes them young. Ew. Ew. That is just disgusting. I'm sorry.
No! 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 No!
Yeah, no, I don't. I genuinely did not need to hear that. Epstein actually held a portrait of a cross-dressing Bill Clinton in his $88 million Manhattan mansion. I've seen the picture. It's Bill Clinton wearing a dress, a blue dress, like the one, the Monica Lewinsky dress. And it's Bill Clinton pointing seductively at at you while he's wearing a blue dress and sort of, I guess, looking seductive. Now, in documents that were unsealed, it was revealed that the former president allegedly stormed into the Vanity Fair newsroom and threatened staffers not to publish stories about sex trafficking allegations against his good friend Jeffrey Epstein. This claim was mentioned by Virginia Giuffre in an email with a journalist from the Daily Mail. Several references to Clinton in the documents talk about Giuffre's allegation that Maxwell told her that she had flown the former president to Epstein's private island on a helicopter. Now, we do know that Bill Clinton, the Clintons have shut things down before when it comes to Epstein. I played the clip of Amy Rohrbach from ABC News talking about it. This was.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air.
She was actually caught off camera by Project Veritas talking about this very topic some years ago. This was a hidden camera catching Amy Rohrbach, the famous news anchor, talking about how she was prevented from reporting on the Jeffrey Epstein case by Clinton World, I guess.
First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Yep. So that is Amy Rohrbach from ABC News on hidden camera talking about how she had the entire Jeffrey Epstein story years ago and had convinced Virginia Roberts, now Virginia Giuffre, to come out of hiding to expose Prince Andrew and the Clintons and all these people. And it was shut down by ABC News. So I don't think that the allegations of Click going to Vanity Fair to shut down the story, I don't think those ring too hollow. Former President Donald Trump appears at least 4 times in the unsealed documents. In Joanna Schoberg's deposition, she described that Epstein once called up Trump and suggested visiting one of his casinos when Epstein's private jet was diverted from New York City to Atlantic City, New Jersey. She said, Jeffrey said, great, we'll call up Trump and we'll go to the casino. But Schoberg said that she never massaged Trump or did anything illegal. Now, Virginia Giuffre, formerly Virginia Roberts, said that she was lured into working as a masseuse for Epstein while she was working at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida. So, there's a connection there. Alan Dershowitz, the prominent Zionist, establishmentarian, and overall scumbag, allegedly forced Jane Doe number 3 to have sexual relations with his lawyer, former Harvard law. No, I'm sorry. Epstein forced her to have sex with Alan Dershowitz when she was a minor, according to the claims in the documents. The alleged incidents took place not only in Florida, but on private planes in New York, New Mexico, and the Virgin Islands. One filing stated that Dershowitz was also an eyewitness to the sexual abuse of many other minors. That is not surprising to me at all. Alan Dershowitz is a scumbag. Simple as that. The dude's just straight up scumbag. The dude is currently out making the case for genocide against the Palestinian people, the occupation of Israel's land. Israel right now is being tried in the International Court of Justice, thanks to South Africa bringing charges against them, and they're getting Alan Dershowitz to represent them while they commit genocide and try to purge an entire ethnic group off the planet. So that's just, one of the many scumbaggy things Alan Dershowitz has done over the years. Now, this is probably the most surprising one. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was allegedly a part of a orgy. Now, if you know who Stephen Hawking was, he was the famous scientist who was in a wheelchair because he was a quadriplegic. So that one, I don't want to say I got to see it to believe it. I'm just going to say that was like, it's hard to imagine that a man who has no control over his extremities could be a part of an orgy. I don't know what type of orgy that could be. Al Gore took pictures with Virginia Giuffre, and so did his wife. Al and Tipper Gore were seen on Epstein's private island. According to Virginia Giuffre, her deposition. Chelsea Clinton, we talked about Ghislaine Maxwell attending Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Michael Jackson, we just talked about that early. Joanna Schoberg was claimed to have met pop icon Michael Jackson at Epstein's house. What MJ was doing at Epstein's house, I have no idea. David Copperfield, Joanna Schoberg also described meeting David Copperfield. Ehud Barak, the former Israeli Prime Minister. Chris Tucker, we just mentioned Chris Tucker. Kevin Spacey. Now that's a sort of a weird one because the plane ride was with Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, and Bill Clinton. And I'm just saying, like, it don't look good for Chris being in the company of two sort of verified degenerates like Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. Naomi Campbell is mentioned. Ken Starr. Remember Ken Starr, the one who brought the charges against Bill Clinton when he was being impeached, and all the Republicans decided that Bill Clinton was the only degenerate president we ever had? Ken Starr was the independent prosecutor at that time. The former U.S. Solicitor General he actually helped secure Jeffrey Epstein's non-prosecution agreement, which allowed him to avoid a possible life sentence while pleading guilty to state charges of soliciting and procuring a minor for prostitution. Wow. And the Pope. While she was under questioning about possible nude photos at Epstein's Palm Beach mansion, Joanna Schoberg recalled that there were snapshots everywhere, including of one with Ghislaine Maxwell and the Pope. Now, Schoberg did not specify when the photo might have been taken or which Pope Maxwell was photographed with, but witnesses previously recalled seeing a photo of Epstein's Florida mansion of him with Pope John Paul II. Now, this actually takes me back to a story I did some years ago when I did the Counterpoint segments during the news hour, the 5 o'clock news hour, back when Rolando was here. You got to be an OG. You got to be a WLTH OG for that one. Where I did a Counterpoint talking about the Pope was implicated in child sex trafficking. The current Pope, one of his good friends, was implicated, should I say, by this former model and escort named Natasha Jate. Natasha Height. I guess in Spanish it would be Height. But anyway, this woman went public and exposed a high-level pedophile ring amongst politicians, famous athletes, and celebrities in Argentina. Now, this matters because the Pope, the current one, is Argentinian. And one of the people she implicated was the best friend of the current Pope. And so this woman, who, like I said, was a very famous model and actress, and like she ended up being an escort or something, a prostitute. That's just what she was. I'm not judging the woman, but that's just what she was. Being exposed to this because of her being in those circles, her being in the underworld circles due to her being a prostitute, allowed her to expose all these men, and immediately she recognized her life was in danger, and all over social media she said, look, I am not suicidal. I'm not going to take an overdose of drugs. I'm not going to, shoot myself in the head or anything. She literally said that in tweets and on Facebook and everything. And a few months after that, she was found dead in a party, butt naked, somehow, of supposedly a drug overdose. Now, according to this woman's own family, she couldn't take drugs because she was taking medication that made it impossible for her to use drugs. So again, these things all sort of tie together. These things all sort of tie together, whether we're talking about the Pope, and the Catholic Church issues, to Jeffrey Epstein, to the issues that we have here in this country. And so, I think it's important that we understand that the people who are running this country and the people who are running this world that we live in are not better than you. Matter of fact, they are a lot worse than you. And things like the Epstein list and the sheer volume of people that he probably compromised with the knowledge that he had, the people he was able to compromise. Who knows how many of the things that our politicians and public figures do that seem pretty unexplainable to us are really because they are being blackmailed by somebody like Jeffrey Epstein. Before I go, I just want to give you a quote from Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein. He told the New York Post that the ex-business mogul, his brother, Jeffrey, said that he could have upended the 2016 election over what he knew about both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Here's a direct quote. He said, "If I ever said what I know about both candidates, they'd have to cancel the election." Think about that. Think about what Jeffrey Epstein knew about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. If I said what I know about both of these candidates, they'd have to cancel the election. And then you wonder why I vote third party? Don't ask me why I vote third party. Ask yourselves why you keep voting for friends of Jeffrey Epstein and the friends of Jeffrey Epstein. All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to lighten the mood with some happy happies. We'll be right back after these.